as always though, Trevor, it's a lovely ground to play at Villa Park. Really big, wide open, expansive spaces. The atmosphere, as we can already tell, is really good and lively, and we need to get off to a good start.
Yeah, the pitch, absolute picture. No excuse for not being able to play pass and move football on this surface. Matty Cash, who was a slight injury doubt, but passed the test to play, will be the Villa right back this afternoon. Douglas Luiz will take this free kick. I think he's got a huge role trying to, as I mentioned, protect the back four. They haven't actually let in that many goals this term, Villa, but they just can't score. That's the problem.
Well, it looks like Kovacic and Ruben Loftus-Cheek are going to be the two holding players in midfield for the time being.
Floated in. Not reach Ings, it did! And a rather desperate goal line clearance. As Chelsea under pressure in the opening minute. Still Luiz with the shot, but not enough power, and that's easily plucked out by Kepa.
Good save by Kepa. I think he's just bounced awkwardly in front of him. A little bit of a scramble here. They've got one or two players that you think might win the first header, and we've got to deal with the second ball. We don't quite get there. Kovacic just about gets back inside that 6-yard box to clear, but not a real panic in my opinion at the moment. Just trying to work out our formation. We've got Havertz here playing left-hand side, so obviously Sterling's playing right side with Aubameyang through the middle, and looks like Mason Mount's trying to push on through centrally, playing perhaps as a number 10.
Chilwell with the throw for Chelsea. Didn't get the return he was looking for. It was a little clumsy from the Blues.
A bit sloppy, wasn't it? Could afford not to do that, to be fair. Don't want to give any advantage to Villa in these early stages.
See what Danny Ings was trying to do, just take a little touch past the defender. Kepa calm under pressure. It's his 5th straight start, the Spaniard. And those 3 clean sheets will certainly have boosted his confidence.
For sure, he's looked comfortable, and you'd have to say as well the defenders in front of him have played very, very well. Not been put under a great deal of pressure, or consistent pressure, should I say, in recent matches, which certainly helps out Kepa in what he's trying to achieve.
Cash back to Martinez, first touch for the Villa keeper.
Yeah, I think Raheem Sterling just struggling positionally at the moment. It looks like he's being asked to play a wing-back like role, but we're seeing Mason Mount urge him forward to put pressure on the centre-back, so that's an interesting position for him to play.
It's long from Mings, and Kepa did well just to shepherd that behind for the goal kick under pressure from Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, well, we've got to expect those long balls to Watkins. He's quick, he will run in behind. He probably fancies his chances, especially against Thiago Silva in a foot race, but I don't think Chalobah and Cucurella are quick enough to stay with him.
Chilwell's ball forward.
Yeah, if Chilwell's going to play this wing-back position, for me, on that occasion, just a little bit deep. Doesn't need to be that deep for me. His starting position is 10 yards further forward. I think he'll find his pass then is more accurate, it's a better one.
Good interception by Watkins. Too much on the pass, though. They're trying to get that ball through to Ings early. That much is obvious, only 3 or 4 minutes in.
Yeah, I think that's what they're trying to do, isn't it? Obviously get the ball to him as quickly as possible, maybe catch us a little bit flat-footed. Just be aware of Ings. He's a decent goal scorer, we know, and will play on the shoulder.
Only his 4th start this season, but Gerrard has made a real statement, especially dropping Philippe Coutinho today. Cash. Calm under pressure. This is Ramsey. Matty Cash again. He's got Bailey ahead of him, but they weren't on the same wavelength there. Villa have a pretty poor record against the Blues, just 1 win in their last 10 Premier League games against Chelsea. And actually Chelsea won 6 of the last 8 here at Villa Park.
It's a great following from Chelsea today, and the support is nice and vociferous, as we always like it to be from the Chelsea fans, but certainly making themselves heard.
Chalobah. Loftus-Cheek. Chalobah again. Now a chance for Kovacic to start something for Chelsea. Space on this near side. Chilwell is lurking, and that's in his direction.
Done well there, Kovacic, just to get the ball further forward and make a simple pass.
Chilwell's found some space from nowhere, really. That's not a very good header. Great chance, an absolute gift. Mason Mount, and it came as a present. What on earth are Aston Villa doing? Chelsea won't care. They have the lead inside 5 minutes. A hand of apology from Tyrone Mings, but for Steven Gerrard, it just gets worse.
That's a nightmare for Gerrard, isn't it? But for Tyrone Mings, this is dreadful defending. Good play here by Chilwell. Really does well to get beyond Jacob Ramsey. Gets into a good position. Ramsey gets back at him, and a deflected ball. Maybe it's spinning, but you've got to question the timing of the jump by Mings. It's really poor. He's on his way down as it hits him on the top of the head, and that's where the spin takes it into the path of Mason, who just finishes so well. It's a great start for Chelsea.
Well, I just couldn't believe his luck, could he? Mason Mount. It is his first goal of the season. Well, last year, when he actually got 13 in total, he didn't score until late October, so he gets better as the campaign goes on.
So we say he's got to a good start then.
Exactly.
I'll tell you what, you know, you have to have your bit of luck sometimes, which we certainly have had there. However, it's still a good finish, you know.
You see players snatch up those, don't you?
Yeah, you see players miss those chances time and time again, but yeah, he's kept a calm head. If you watch it, when we see it from behind the goal, his eyes are totally focused on the ball. He doesn't look to see the goalkeeper's movement. He just slots it home, nice and calm. It's a good finish. Just where you need Trevor as well, away from home. Talked about the volume of noise you get from the Villa fans, and the whole end is really loud at times, but they're going through a period where they're struggling, and sometimes to get the fans going, to keep the fans going, it can be tough. And when the away team come and score a goal, especially of that nature, you know, it silences them then. It gives Chelsea fans a chance.
He did actually drop Tyrone Mings earlier in the season, Gerrard, and then reinstated him. Ironically enough, Mings' father, Adi, was a former Chelsea scout for a while. Oh, that would have hurt. That really would have hurt.
To the cheek, isn't it? It's not good. Looks to be okay, though. Obviously feeling it, and maybe Tyrone Mings feeling it as well, that he's just given away a goal. There it is again. This is a superb turn. You know what? Poor defending by Ramsey, who does actually get back and get a foot in. There can be no argument with the defensive header of Mings. That's dreadful.
Not sure the body language is that great after it either. Not that that's Chelsea's concern. Brought forward by Loftus-Cheek. 9 satisfactory minutes so far. Here's Havertz for Chelsea. Chilwell getting forward at will down this left-hand side. And the shot always rising from Kovacic, but nice build-up play from Chelsea.
Yeah, not like Kovacic. Often he'll take a touch and play from there, but he maybe just saw the sights and thought, you know what, I'll have a little pop at goal, but doesn't score too many, as we know, but he won't score hitting it that high into the crowd either. But again, good play. Ruben does well initially. The ball's moved on very quickly. I thought Kai Havertz may have picked out Pierre Aubameyang. He doesn't do that, goes wide, but nothing comes of it.
Well, Villa Park has been rather stunned into silence by that opener for Chelsea that came courtesy of Mings' aberration. Chalobah saw off the attentions of Ollie Watkins. Watkins has felt something as well. He stayed down.
I think he may have turned an ankle or something when he put his foot in. Trevor was too strong for him there, which is good to see, because I thought initially he might have made a mistake here. Ollie Watkins very quick onto him. Yeah, just catches a boot that was unintentional. It's just one of those things. Just turned his ankle maybe as well.
Looks okay. Seven goals without a game for Ollie Watkins. That starts to prey on a striker's mind when you've gone that long without finding the net.
Yeah, you tend to find situations that you snatch at it and you're not too sure, and you want to sort of smack it home with power, and sometimes you just miss the target. You know, it's tough for strikers, but that's what they're in the job for.
Kovacic, Havertz. Villa actually have only won 4 of their last 20 Premier League games. That's why pressure is mounting on Steven Gerrard. Finding managing south of the border rather more difficult than he did north of it at Glasgow Rangers. Here's Chilwell. Ramsey, there'll be a free kick.
He's unlucky, Havertz. He just loses his rag a little bit because he feels he was fouled initially.
Forward by McGinn. Little touch by Ings, but too much on it.
Well, they can already hear the moans and the groans from the Villa fans. 12 minutes in. One mistake by Tyrone Mings, and Chelsea take the advantage, but every single pass now is tough for the Villa players. You know, they're finding it tough. They've got to find a claret and blue shirt, but every one that goes missing, the fans moan and groan, and that doesn't do them any favours either.
And it's the nature of it, Clyde, isn't it? I mean, if Mount sticks one in from 25 yards top corner, not much you can do, but the way that the goal was effectively gift-wrapped. Yes, he won the Scottish title, Glasgow Rangers, an unbeaten season, 2021, Steven Gerrard. Silva wins the throw. Only third league appearance this term for Trevor Chalobah, who just took that throw for Chelsea. Sorted out by Mount.
That's a good ball. Gets yourself out of trouble. You know, it's cramped in there. There's a lot of Villa players around, and Chelsea have got themselves out of trouble. One quick switch of play.
Chilwell must have made 50 yards of ground there with it.
Yeah, but he can't do that, Havertz. He can't lose the ball that easily. Chilwell's made a great run. Just open your body out. It's all about body shape. Open your body out and slide him in.
Well, that's a bit short. To be very alert there, means that was potentially another catastrophe for Villa. Well, Cucurella has missed it. Here's Bailey. Touch was heavy, invited the challenge from Thiago Silva.
And it's good defending, but again, poor play from Villa. One mistake by Cucurella, and we've managed to recover.
They still have it, that's dangerous, and it's clipped the bar from Bailey. Just couldn't get over it, and it's an escape for Chelsea.
Well, it is, and he's not the tallest of players, Leon Bailey, but he has leapt well to try and win this at the far post. A little bit of luck goes their way as well. That's a great ball by McGinn, but thankfully it's at the top of the crossbar. But again, we'll go back to Raheem Sterling in that defensive position, wing-back position, which he's trying to play. He looks so uncomfortable. For me, he doesn't look comfortable whether he's going forward or, as we saw there, defensively. Just wonder if we'll be concerned as the game progresses, whether he'll improve playing in that position, will he get more comfortable positionally, that's where it starts, but he's got to have some belief and confidence, which he looks a little bit short of at the moment.
Chalobah. It was a lovely little dummy from Mount, sold the defender who had to foul him.
Yeah, I think once he doesn't get any contact on the ball, it was always going to be a free kick to Mason. Graham Potter 15 minutes in will be more than happy, obviously, with the scoreline. I think we can play better, though. I think we've done okay, but I think we can play better, and I think maybe that's where he's looking as well. Maybe get another goal and take the game completely away from Villa.
Here's Cucurella. Allowed space to run into. Chilwell's been given the freedom of Birmingham this afternoon so far down this left-hand side. Cucurella again. Chilwell. Chelsea starting to pass the ball around. Of course, it always helps when you get an early goal.
Yeah, we're just keeping hold of the ball now, just letting them move about, try and drag one or two players out of position if we can.
Nice ball for Havertz. This is Raheem Sterling. Chelsea threatening here. Aubameyang waiting in the middle. It's too high for him. Chilwell has kept it in.
A strange choice of ball into the box for me. That should be doing better. Good to see Raheem Sterling getting into that position in those little pockets and able to run forward with the ball. He'll have enjoyed that moment.
Kovacic.
Good ball.
Chilwell kept it in, but that's all he could really do with it. Villa just don't look with it at all defensively. No one wants the ball, and that's always the sign of a team lacking confidence. Nice turn, Kovacic. Sterling was screaming for it wide on the right. It's come with Chilwell, though.
Well, Chelsea beginning to dominate the ball, and for me, Kovacic in midfield is starting to run the show, which is something we need.
Poor challenge from McGinney. Never had a hope of getting the ball
No,
there.
and that's a sign of frustration. You know, they're not getting the ball. They're trying to get on it as best they can in good areas, but Chelsea are too good for them at the moment.
Chilwell again. Cucurella.
Of course, as I say, that one lapse in concentration and the picture could change very, very quickly. But at the moment, Chelsea 18 minutes in, good for the 1-0 lead.
Well, it looks to me as if Ashley Young might have a problem here.
.650 games, I think, Trevor.
That's what it is. That's what it is. That'll take it out of you. Scored a wonderful goal, actually, on Monday at the City Ground.
Fabulous goal, wasn't it?
Yeah. Kovacic. Second time Chelsea have rather fluffed their lines at a throw. However, 19 minutes gone, 1-0 the advantage thanks to Mason Mount's 6th-minute strike. Forward by Douglas Luiz, Cucurella's header. Bailey has retrieved it though for Villa. Ramsey has found Cash. Bailey again. Forced back though, and you can hear
And there's the fans, Trevor. That's what we're talking about. Any negative play, you can hear the moan and the groan. This is going back to the goalkeeper. Yeah. You see it happening. Chelsea got themselves back into good position, great shape about us, and we're starting to push forward. And you can just see it going all the way back because there's nowhere else for them to go.
Down the line by Ashley Young. That's a better ball. Ings is waiting in the middle. McGinn, decent save, and the follow-up off the post. The follow-up again is denied. Chelsea somehow have kept it out. David Luiz. Wow. How many escapes there in the space of about 30 seconds. Flag up in the end. But my, that goal into charmed life, although Kepa did well initially.
I think Kepa's done brilliant, absolutely brilliant. This is a good first save. Second save was exceptional.
Yeah.
And then he gets his body in the way and deflects the one from Danny Ings. But just wondering what point did the flag, or should the flag, have gone up for offside? Did we need that many shots? I don't know. But we survived, and that's the main thing.
Oh, heroics from Kepa. No joy for Gerrard.
Oh, Gerrard must be thinking, what do we have to do? You know, and it's one of those where it could be a nightmare for him as the season rolls on.
All started with a really classy ball from Ashley Young. After that, it was Kepa to the rescue for Chelsea. But a warning, though, for the Blues that they can take nothing for granted here, despite taking an early lead.
I'm just going to say, I don't think Aubameyang's had more than about 2 or 3 touches. But he's the type of player that probably doesn't need it, and when he gets a chance, we might see a goal from him.
4 shots on target this season for Chelsea, 3 goals. So
says it all.
Makes your point.
Caught there. I think we've got to thank Kepa, haven't we, for the trio of shots he saves. That's the best. That's the best save. That's a good deflection, and we've had a bit of luck that Ramsey couldn't pop that one in as well. You know, a little bit of luck you need to win matches for sure.
Chelsea actually looking to keep a second straight Premier League clean sheet, for the first time since March, would you believe? Hopped on by Bailey, excellent slide from Loftus-Cheek, ground onto the free kick, it was never that. Well, that's a good ball, if he can just get the better of the defender. Aubameyang couldn't quite. Desperate challenge from Konsa.
Yeah, it wasn't quite heavy enough, the ball, was it? Just needed delivered a bit more than that. It would have been a very quick counter-attack.
Ings up against Cucurella here. Battle between those two. Again, you can hear the discontent as Villa go back rather than forwards.
The trouble is for the Villa fans that they shouldn't see a backward pass as a negative, but the condition they're in, the games they've lost recently and goals they've given away, especially the one today, you know, they'll get disgruntled. But it's hard for fans to keep quiet at times, but every backward pass is seen as a negative at the moment.
Once again, the away fans making plenty of noise. Made the journey up the M1-M6 earlier on today. Just past the midway point now of the first half. Chelsea still leading by that early Mason Mount goal. Luiz with the interception. Mings under pressure. It was a poor clearance again from the Villa number 5.
Yeah, that was good pressure from the Chelsea forwards, though. Once the ball was lost, 2 or 3 players went charging in, and Mings had to get rid of it as quickly as possible, and that's why the pass was poor and we picked it back up again. I was watching Leon Bailey a few moments ago, and Cucurella just had so much time on the ball. It's almost like he gets fed up. There's his attitude again. See that wave of the arm? You know, that's not good. And he's getting fed up with chasing the ball. They're not having enough possession for him, but unfortunately that's how it is today.
Sterling. Loftus-Cheek for Kovacic. Sterling again. He was caught in about 3 minds there. Correa last man back under pressure from Bailey, did enough.
Actually a good header, to be fair. If he'd have tried to head this back to the goalkeeper, it would never have made it.
Kovacic again, just a fraction overhit that for Sterling.
And again, that quick counter-attack's been on a few times, hasn't it? Just haven't managed to find that final pass. Just feel that maybe it's coming.
Once again, in real trouble there, Tyrone Mings.
Yeah, it's Mason Mount who's playing just behind Aubameyang, who's making that run. You know, he's so fit and he's quick as well. And as soon as it goes to Mings, who dwells on the ball maybe a bit too much, I think Graham Potter's recognised that, and he's just giving Mason Mount the licence to charge forward and put him under pressure.
Potter has to be alert and was. Hasn't put a foot wrong so far, the Chelsea keeper.
Good starting position. I mean, it's always important he's the right distance from the back three to see those through passes.
Ashley Young looking for the McGinn, and McGinn still has it. There's no free kick, and once again the goalkeeper to the rescue. Danger may not be over, driven in low, and Mount can clear his lines.
Yeah, well, do you know what we see? This is a good chance.
Just about got enough on the header there, didn't he?
We've seen it with times with players, they go down too easily. You know, sometimes there are pushes, but I think one or two referees, and they're not all the same, are suggesting that players go down cheaply. I think he might have thought Thiago Silva did on that occasion.
Well, we keep hearing, don't we, that referees are saying, or have been asked effectively to let more go than they previously did. Let's have another look at it. There was a bit of a shove from McGinn, to be fair.
It's not a great deal of contact, though, is it? Yeah. And I think that's what people are saying. But working out what is and what isn't is so difficult. I don't see how referees can get those exactly right every single time.
Only missed one Premier League match so far this season, Thiago Silva. He made his 100th European appearance in Milan on Tuesday. Kovacic under pressure. Chilwell's got a better position. I said earlier on when I thought he was a bit too deep, he's now moved up 10 yards further up the field. And what it's doing, Leon Bailey doesn't know what to do. Doesn't know where to stand, who to mark or what. Then Jacob Ramsey's having to be dragged out of that central midfield area. So here we go again. Oh, that's a poor pass. There we see Jacob Ramsey coming over to close down Chilwell, which leaves space for Kovacic to play. And that's how we're making it happen. Cash down the line. Not sure if things got any contact on that, but it ran through to Bailey nonetheless. Chilwell did extremely well there, but Chelsea have gifted it straight to Danny Ings. Not sure he was ever going to beat Kepa once the goalkeeper got his angles right, and he absolutely did. Well, he stood up at the near post, Kepa. I think if you put it in the air, he's got a chance of making the save. It goes on the floor, and he can't move his feet quickly enough. It could have snuck in, but poor pass. It was Aubameyang who gave it away. Should be a Chelsea throw. Yeah. A simple ball to make as well. He's split it between Ruben and Marc Cucurella. Just think he's got to produce something unbelievable to score from that angle if he goes near post. I mean, not easy to go far post either, but there was a player in the middle in a maroon shirt. Anyway, Chelsea escaped. They've had a few escapes in the first half hour, and Kepa's had to make 3 or 4 excellent saves. One exceptional save. Just wonder sometimes what managers say after the game. Do they blame their strike force for not being ruthless, or do they say, well, the goalkeeper's had a good day, you know? It depends which team you support, doesn't it? He's going to say his striker should have done better. Yeah. Lofted in dangerously. That's not going to be a penalty kick as McGinn went down. A poor touch as well, isn't it? Got to win that header for me. Just give him Villa 1 or 2 chances. Trevor's got to do better and win the header and be nice and positive. Maybe we need to secure this with the
Second goal if we can find it. That looks offside.
Right ball from Chilwell. Flag has stayed down for the moment against Aubameyang. Didn't really put his foot through that, Kai Havertz.
And the flag went up. No one can understand this. It's not really a rule, is it? It's just an idea.
Well, the assistant referees err on the side of onside, don't they, in case. And they can always have a look on VAR.
Our argument is when it's blatantly obvious.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's 2-3 yards offside. If it's tight, I understand. I really do understand.
This is Bailey. Made himself a yard, got the cross in too! Oh. What a save that is! As Ings went in, Kepa has pulled off a wonder stop.
Well, I'm going to have to say it now, it's all about a goalkeeper having a worldy day, isn't he? What a save again, Kepa. Ings should be burying this. Bailey does well initially. I thought Chilwell should have shut him down better. But what a header, bang on target. Kepa's brilliant.
I mean, talk about point-blank range. That literally was. Aston Villa have a corner. 7 Villa players inside the Chelsea box. It's very deep, a whole gaggle of defenders, and Chelsea just about got the job done. Now trying to be really strong here against Concert. Villa want a corner, they're not going to get it, and Chelsea might be able to break here. Better pass they would have done.
Tell you what, Chelsea would have scored that. There would have been 1 or 2 complaints, but it's sort of increased the volume, isn't it, of the crowd.
The thing is, though, and it's like we were all told by our first ever football coach or scorer club, play to the whistle. If Villa didn't do that, it would have been their own fault. But this is a magnificent stop.
Yeah, of course, anywhere else, it's a goal, isn't it?
Well, if he heads it down, he's got no chance.
I think he can't quite get below it, above it to head it down, but even if he misheads this, and it sort of goes in the opposite way, 50 pence head we used to call it, where it's come off the wrong side there and gone the opposite way that you intended, it's a goal. So, it's a good header, it's bang on target, but it's an equally brilliant save.
Steven Gerrard's reaction rather said it all. He's had about 4 or 5 head-in-hands moments already. We've only played 32 minutes.
I just wonder if there's a moment or two we go back to thinking about what we're doing. We were controlling the ball 10 minutes ago, we're now losing it.
They're really actually starting to play quite well. That'll be a free kick and probably a card. I don't think you can have too many complaints about that.
I'm not sure what we were doing defensively here from Cucurella. He's just charged into space and it's left Chilwell to get back it. Jacob Ramsey. And he's had to bring him down. It was a gamble and he lost the gamble. Free kick Villa. And does deserve the yellow card.
So Villa have their momentum stopped, but they do have a free kick in a semi-threatening position.
I just wonder if Graham Potter's thought about swapping Chilwell and Cucurella over. I just wonder, he obviously knows Marc Cucurella from his Brighton days and obviously played in that position in a back three in those days, but I just wonder Chilwell can play that position as well. I just wonder if there might be a time when you say, let's just swap those two around and see what happens and get a little bit of stability at the back, because at the moment Villa are really coming on strong.
First caution of the match dished out by Robert Jones, actually one of the younger referees on the circuit. He's 35 and unbelievably in the modern day game he hasn't produced a red card since January. Hope it stays that way.
I think time it's taken Ramsey to get back onto his feet. He's obviously felt this one. It did look a little bit nasty. Certainly was a question, if I don't get the ball, I'm going to get the player from Ben Chilwell. Well, that guy's played heroic so far in the game, and you just question, of course, we've talked about it week in, week out, about Edouard Mendy and who is the better of the two goalkeepers, but with 3 clean sheets, Trevor, and the performance so far today, I think he's establishing himself as the #1 at the moment.
Well, obviously got a chance when Mendy was injured, didn't he? And he's taken it with both hands, literally.
Yeah, and it's same with players. You know, if people get injured, you get a chance, go and perform. Well, let's take nothing away from Kepa. Oh, 3 clean sheets, and as I said, this performance so far, he's made some brilliant saves.
Bailey is over the free kick for Aston Villa. Seems a fair way out to try a shot. See what he does. He did go for goal, and it looked to me he really had no confidence whatsoever in what he was about to do.
And many would say that probably sums up Villa over recent weeks. That Leon Bailey's trying to do that from that sort of distance, as you say. There were other options, and I think that's the point. If you're not playing well, if you're not scoring many goals, to score from there in training with nobody in your way and just a goalkeeper, you know, is difficult. You know, he's got a wall to get round and over, but you're not scoring goals, so the team are not in confident mood of scoring goals and hitting the target. So put the ball in and give it the chance for somebody else.
Chelsea not complaining. Kepa's clearance. Ings. Bailey on the charge, appearing on the left for the first time. Wanted to cross it early. And the free kick goes Chelsea's way.
Well, he's done well to draw the challenge there, Ruben. I prefer him to have taken the ball cleanly, because I think it probably would have been better for him. You see him just take the ball up, but just stands in the way, uses his frame, which is good to see. But certainly draws the foul, any contact from Bailey. It's a free kick. Seeing the frustrations as well from Leon Bailey's reaction. Silly things like that for me are not good enough. Ball's travelled very long from Kepa. And 3 players in the vicinity, no one gets near it to put Villa under pressure. And you have to ease the pressure sometimes by trying to get the ball to bounce and pick up the second ball.
Chelsea's throw. 8 minutes to go into the break, although after that recent problem that Ramsey had, we might have 2 or 3 additional minutes to add on. Ruben Loftus-Cheek trying to make ground down that right-hand side and couldn't, and that will be a free kick for Villa.
Well, we've been a bit scruffy and a bit scrappy, haven't we? OK, we've taken the lead, but not been able to float. Maybe Villa's have had a bit to do with that, but the pass has not been at its best. Just in fits and starts for me.
Watkins. A very poor ball. And I don't think that Steven Gerrard will be over-impressed with Watkins' starting position and really wants him further up the pitch. You know, he's got Ings obviously as the main front man. But
I think Watkins has been playing there though, hasn't he, when Ings as that front man. I just wonder if he's tried to reorganise, as he's doing at the moment, to maybe, I mean, from his point of view, it's about getting a win, isn't it? For obvious reasons, but you've got to get the best out of your players, and you feel Watkins is much better in that position.
Well, he's further forward here, and he's won the throw by Trevor Chalobah. Luis roams around the ground as referee Jones gives Chelsea the free kick.
We've just gone off the pace a bit for me, last 10-12 minutes. I think trying to slow the game down, the referee's going to have a word with Kepa, looks like it. Trying to speed the game up a bit. You know, I think it's a situation where we don't want people, you know, forced into doing things they don't want to do, but we've got to, for me, keep the game moving at a pace.
Martinez goes long. Chalobah's challenge on Watkins was a fair one, and here comes Mason Mount for Chelsea. Got the better of Luis. This is Havertz, still going, Kai Havertz. This is Raheem Sterling trying to curl it off the bar and put behind for a corner.
Got to score. He's got to score. He's got a great option as well. The overlapping run of Chilwell. Villa all over the place. Great run by Havertz. Keeps his balance so well. Mason Mount starts it all off with a good little mazy run. Then Havertz takes the ball cleanly here, impeded by Tyrone Mings, but still manages to get that space. But that is the opportunity for Sterling. It's a poor one, really, because I feel he's got to hit the target there.
In fact, the free kick was given to Aston Villa for the challenge, so no corner. Chalobah really strong in the challenge, but now Chelsea have lost it. Won't have to get back. Watkins is waiting in the middle with Bailey. Bailey rather despaired at the quality of the cross. This is Cash. Easily away, Chalobah. Not very far though. Douglas Luiz kept it alive. Cash again.
That's poor from Villa, isn't it? You know, you get into those positions and the ball into the box. The quality of the ball into the box from Watkins again was awful. Cash again with the second and third chance to cross. Again, it's not good. He's given the foul against Aubameyang for this. I find that strange when being pushed all over the place by Konza.
Well, I think he made the right decision in the end, just giving Villa the throw. Ramsey going a long way round. Ashley Young. Good pressure from Loftus-Cheek, forced the former Manchester United man back.
As we can see, the Graham Potter's changed Raheem Sterling now and put him into the left-hand side, which has given Kai Havertz a chance to go to the right, but it's also put Ruben in a better position.
Watkins did well. He tried to feed it through from again, and the referee's pulled it back. He played advantage. Now he's given Villa the free kick.
That's a strange one, isn't it? Bring it back, and he's let him go several times before he's actually blown the whistle. But when he finally got clear, he's made a poor pass. Well, that's not Trevor Chalobah's fault for fouling him sort of 20 yards before that.
Free kick's been taken quickly. The cross was easily intercepted by Kukurea. There's a poor ball in. Aubameyang found a way out of trouble.
I don't know what Aubameyang's trying to do there. He's better in this position.
Just trying to feed it through to Sterling, didn't he? Couldn't quite find his teammate. McGinn onside. He's got Watkins waiting in the middle.
Just got one in the box though, you think.
Ings' shot was charged down.
Got one in the box, you can understand from Villa's perspective. Do you put the cross in, and if you delay the cross, then do you lose possession?
Well, for some reason, Danny Ings was about 25 yards outside the penalty area there. I think that's where Gerrard would want him. Here's McGinn. Got to get it out from under his feet, and he did well. Ashley Young in a real battle with Mason Mount. Havertz did superbly. Loftus-Cheek now. This is Luiz. Nice little ball here if Ramsey can get there, but he can't. Excellent work, Chilwell. Made sure that the Villa man wasn't going anywhere. Here's Cash, though, for Aston Villa. It's a better cross, and Ings flashes a header over the top.
That's a better ball in this time. Good pace on it from Cash. Just had the licence to get his head up, didn't he? And a bit of space to deliver. It's a decent ball into Ings, although, I have to say, that's a very difficult position to win the ball back from.
He's got a lot to do there, Ings, hasn't he, really, to score from there.
There's not a lot of aerial space, but he makes the best of it. Just a question for us, I think, for getting into the dressing room at half-time with the scoreline as it is.
Chelsea ball. So, all the question now of how many additional minutes we're going to play. We've played the 45. A couple more to add. Kovacic. Nearly got it through the eye of a needle there. Chalobah's clearing header, made sure it didn't get to Ollie Watkins.
Yeah, it's just that ball when we're just trying to get it up through midfield, and we're just struggling to do that at the moment. Maybe a few words from Potter at half-time will make a difference, because I just feel that Villa are here for the taking. If we can get the second goal, I think it could be all over, but they've come back into it quite strongly.
Once again, Villa being forced back towards their own goal, all the way back. And you can understand the supporters of a team that are struggling, not enjoying what they're seeing. That's a nice piece of control from Watkins. Cucurella is with Ings, and Thiago Silva just about did enough there. It was cool defending from the Brazilian.
Doesn't look totally convincing though at the back today for me. I think we've got away with it a few times, and of course we've had the skills of Kepa to keep us in front, but just needs maybe a few words from Graham Potter at the break to encourage us to be better from the back, but also to work the midfield better than we have done. Raheem Sterling's barely been in the game.
Mings. Again, couldn't keep it under real pressure from Ruben Loftus-Cheek. We'll say that had to be a free kick.
I think it had to be a free kick. The fact that Ruben falls on the ball and handballs it, it just worried me for a second that the referee was going to say he went down too cheaply. But McGinn's had 2 or 3 goes at him there to try and win the ball from behind. Ruben's too big and strong to go to ground easily, but eventually wins the free kick.
Just querying it, I think that's Steven Gerrard with Michael
I think
Salisbury,
he's queried everything so far.
The 4th official, but he must be querying how his team haven't scored. The main reason for that is the brilliance of Chelsea's goalkeeper. Kepa has been absolutely outstanding after the error by Tyrone Mings allowed Mason Mount to give the Blues a 6-minute lead. Since then, the Chelsea keeper, without question, has been their star man. One exceptional save and a string of excellent stops too. And that all means at half-time here is Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 1. Well, welcome back to Villa Park, where Chelsea, as you can see, have made 2 changes. Azpilicueta and Koulibaly about to come on. Cucurella is one of those who's been brought up. I think Kai Havertz was the other one, actually. Yes, indeed.
I think the story tells you, doesn't it? 2 substitutions for the team that are winning at half-time. I mean, it doesn't happen very often. So Graham Potter obviously not convinced with the way we're playing. Maybe thinks we're a little bit fortunate to be in front, and I think he would probably be right in that assessment. Making the changes, I think, was inevitable. I think Cucurella was struggling in that position to the left of 3 on this occasion. Kai Havertz maybe a bit unfortunate to go off, but you know what, when you're making changes as a manager, that's what you do. Make the changes and you live and die by the sword. So fair play to Graham Potter. Let's hope it makes Chelsea a better side.
Yeah, see if it adds a bit of solidity to the back line. This is Ruben Loftus-Cheek, just coaxed in dangerously towards Azpilicueta. What a bad first touch, and the shot charged down. It was Mount again.
Great turn, absolutely great turn by Mason Mount. Fabulous play.
Ramsey's missed control, picked up by Chilwell. No changes for Aston Villa, incidentally, at the break.
Yeah, we were talking, weren't we, Trevor, at half-time, just trying to think, you know, how you would improve us. I understand the changes. I can understand Kalidou Koulibaly coming on as well. You know, Villa do, at times, tend to play long balls for the likes of Ings and Watkins running on. So maybe the presence of Koulibaly is better. Taller player in that area maybe is the right idea to snuff those long balls out. So There are several reasons perhaps why Graham Potter's changed it around.
Martinez has not had a shot to save, no chance with the goal obviously. Hasn't had anything else to do, and his opposite number, Kepa, has been very, very busy and quite brilliant at times so far. We're hoping for a rather quieter second half, no doubt. This is Koulibaly.
We've certainly got to move the ball quicker as well. I think that's a given with the way we play football, because our passing's got to be crisper and sharper. This is better already, and we've got to continue with that. We can't lose our way or lose our head. Oh dear, he got away with that.
That was dangerous, and was fortunate he didn't find a Villa player. Bit of space here for Mason Mount.
And that's what we want. We want Mason getting into those little pockets. We know how good he is in those areas. And if Villa are going to afford in that sort of space, then great.
This is Sterling. Crossed early, but straight into the grateful arms of Martinez.
Expect better from Raheem. I think he knows it as well.
Ramsey.
I think when we see the amount of saves that Kepa's had to produce in that first half, Graham Potter must have been screaming for more protection for his goalkeeper. Again, another reason why we've made the changes. The protection of the goalkeeper is massively important, but he was making save after save after save.
Ings looking for Ings, and did well to knock it down for Watkins, and that's great play by Loftus-Cheek. Really strong in the challenge. An advantage played here. It's with Mount. Now Sterling. Just had to hold it up. There wasn't really any other option for him. Only Aubameyang was in an advanced position. There were several of the defenders around him. Chilwell. Chelsea happy just to keep the ball.
I think containment's not a bad thing at this stage. Maybe the odd foray forward when you see an opportunity, but for me, Villa, the forwards love to get forward. Their three forwards love to go forward, but they don't like to defend much. And I think what we're finding is the space between them and the midfield, and we're just using that space to keep the ball a little bit longer.
Coached forward by Kepa, and very accurately too, as it turns out.
Nowhere near enough pace on that ball for Mason, but that's where we want him. We said that. Get him in those pockets of space, and then Villa push forward, and we can miss the press. That was a lovely ball by Kepa. Then all of a sudden, we can cause Villa problems.
Nice ball from Cash. Villa have four in the box if they can deliver here. Solid header out by Thiago Silva. Luis. Watkins. Knocked behind by Silva for a corner kick.
And again, with just a little bit too much pressure coming down Villa's right flank. Thiago Silva in a good position on a couple of occasions, as always. As we said before, Trevor, they've got one or two big fellas like Mings who will come forward on these occasions, will cause problems.
Well, he'd love to atone for the error he made that set up Mason Mount's goal. 6 Villa players in the box. Didn't reach any of them.
Yeah, not a good ball in. Not the best header on this occasion from Thiago Silva, but important to get to the ball first.
So Bailey may be looking for more depth here. Ponsa is amongst those forward. Mings' central defensive partner. Watkins there as well. Ings on the goal line. Bailey delivers. And it was Watkins' header. and he may think he should have done better with it.
It's almost a free header, isn't it? He's not being marked initially, but finds that little bit of space. Oh, looking at that again, Trevor, I'm saying he's got to do better. Kepa doesn't get there at all on this occasion.
Piliqueta. Loftus-Cheek. Ball was rather telegraphed and easily picked off by Cash. Looking to get Bailey away. Good stretch from Koulibaly that time.
Koulibaly, that's an important interception. Mason Mount doesn't need to force it like he did there. This is better. Oh, ran away from him. Makes you feel like this is going to be one of those games, Trevor, where we just got to perhaps dig in, hang on. Signs Villa are going to be dangerous. And hopefully get through, because we've got the goal advantage, but it's a thin one to stand on.
One in the air by Watkins. This is Ings. Back goes Ramsey. It's a very important touch, because Villa had several players waiting there. Retrieved by Ashley Young. Didn't get the elevation he wanted.
Tell you what, a better ball in would have given us problems. I mean, Koulibaly stood up in the near post, just gets a little deflection on it. It wasn't a good delivery. They've worked the ball well though, Villa.
Well, delivered again, and that's a better header, but it was a very difficult technique to score from there, and it flashes wide.
Yeah, getting stronger and stronger, Villa. We've got to deal with this. We've got to stop those crosses coming in. Again, an opportunity for Villa, although a harder one than he's already seen.
Let's go back to Chelsea's goal. Mount was the 11th different Blues player to have scored this season. That's more than any other team in the Premier League. Couldn't keep it in. Thumped forward by Young. It's an awkward one for Chilwell. Koulibaly has to watch this carefully. At least he managed to save the corner.
We could do the period of possession, couldn't we? Well, actually going anywhere in many respects.
Watkins. Looking to Young. A little bit of space here for Ollie Watkins. Well, again, it would have taken something quite spectacular to find the top corner from there.
And again, you can see why he's struggling to score goals of late. Good play by Villa, but you'd have to say we're not at our best, should I say. Seen us defend better than this. Referee having a quiet word with Kepa for some reason. I think he was trying to take him to speed things up, but it's not even a goal kick.
It's the thing with strikers, isn't it? When you're desperate for a goal, you try and force it sometimes. I think the shot there was the right option. Bailey, so we've got to keep that under pressure. But again, good pressure from Chelsea to force the man to go back. Martinez launches long. Plenty of time here for Chalobah. Loftus-Cheek. Excellent ball. Chilwell. Both teams squandering possession. This is Koulibaly for Chelsea. Playing like a left winger. And he couldn't steer the cross away from the goalkeeper.
Yeah, it's gone very positive from both teams, giving the ball away cheaply, but intensifying the atmosphere, I guess, in some respects, and that'll only help Villa. That's a great ball down the line.
Watkins will catch this. And deliver, and he had to be brave there, Kepa.
Well, hasn't he? Don't know if he's taken a little knock as he went down to make this save, but that's a lovely ball down the line. The only thing Watkins can do is put it in first time. Did it go out of play? No, it didn't, so Kepa's done well. Yes, it did. Well, I was wondering if we'd make some changes, because you feel energy levels maybe not where we want them. We've got to be saying, of course, amount of games maybe we've had recently. No one better than Conor Gallagher to come on to lift that energy level that you need. Just wondering if Raheem Sterling, yeah, quiet word with him from Conor, possibly going to that central position.
So Aubameyang's race is run after an hour or so, and Gallagher, who scored that brilliant winner late on at Selhurst Park a few weeks ago, is on. As Pilaqueta plays it forward, too far forward.
Too far infield as well. If he puts it down the line, just still gives Raheem a bit of a chance.
Well, that's worked out favourably for Ashley Young, who's crossed early. I think he might have crossed a bit too early, because Ings just couldn't get into that kind of a position.
Funny, Ings was offside as well, but I have to say, a little bit of good fortune went his way, and after the ball down the line was a really good one. This one was not so good, shall I say, but Ings was offside anyway.
So his first pro deal for Watford 19 years ago, Ashley Young. Koulibaly. Ponce's header. Gallagher's first touch.
No, he's not going to win any of those headers, Raheem, is he, playing that central role, but it's where the likes of Conor Gallagher come into action, Mason Mount in those areas, trying to pick up that second ball, just to make us a little bit more effective than we have been of late.
Knocked away by Ponce. Again, you can hear the Chelsea fans in Villa Park. Actually, whose first away game outside London since August. Chalobah. That's Pilaqueta. Loftus-Cheek saw a gap and was fouled.
I don't know how many times Leon Bailey's going to moan at the referee. Moaned at every single decision so far.
I've got the count at about 38.
I just wondered if the referee's going to get fed up with him and just give him a yellow card for the sake of it.
Kovacic for the slightly heavy touch. Villa fans wanted handball, but their team have got possession anyway. And that will be a free kick and probably a caution.
Yeah, poor pass by Mason Mount has cost Koulibaly a yellow card. Mason might have got back in the end, but easy foul for the referee to give, and the yellow, of course.
So Koulibaly's taken one for the team. Now the team have to defend this Villa free kick.
It's becoming more and more one of those games where you think, let's just take the 3 points, Trevor, and go home. But obviously the lads have got to dig in for the next 30 minutes or so and try and see us over the line. You know, it's not our best performance against a side that's struggling, so it's been somewhat disappointing so far. We know we can do better.
Douglas Luiz is over the free kick for Aston Villa. His delivery's not the worst. Kepa's come, didn't really get there. McGinn's volley. Kepa got hold of it that time.
Oh, I love his bravery here, Kepa. come a long way for this first punch. They're under a lot of pressure for some big players. Gets a decent punch up in the air, but look at his reaction, gets back into position very, very quickly and makes a decent tight save, and obviously doesn't let the ball bounce as McGinn, who's often got a good strike with his left foot, gets decent contact.
It's one of those things that you see goalkeepers practice all the time when they either make a save or punch the ball clear, they get back up and have other balls fired at them straight away. Chilwell. Well, that was cool, wasn't it, from Koulibaly? Kovacic. Chelsea in no hurry, just keeping the ball. Villa haven't really offered the same kind of threat so far in the second half that they did in the first. But while the lead is just one, there's always a concern. Chilwell. That's a free kick in a threatening position.
Well, if it's a foul, then I think this is a yellow card. I think he just wants to have a word with Tyrone Mings maybe on this occasion, but good footwork from Mason Mount as well. Good hold-up play to allow... The first pass could have been offside, but Chilwell does well. This is good feet. I have to say, he's unlucky there, Mings, in many respects.
I think, yeah, Mount just got a nudge which took it in a slightly different direction to that which Mings was expecting. Nonetheless, opportunity here for Chelsea. And it looks like Jorginho coming on for Kovacic.
Just thought perhaps Kovacic was just tiring slightly, perhaps, in that central area. We know what you're going to get from Jorginho. Hopefully shore things up in there and just allows other players to have more time on the ball, perhaps. But maybe from this free kick opportunity, Mason Mount shaping up for it.
Yeah, Villa look like they want to make a change, but they're going to wait until after the free kick. Villa have everyone back inside their own box here. Mount certainly looks like he fancies it. Can he get it up and down? He can! Oh, yes, he can! That is fabulous! 2 for Mount, and that is a goal of the season contender. What a hit!
Wow, wow, wow. Martinez completely flummoxed by the ferocity of this drive by Mason Mount, but it must have moved a lot in the air. His first step is to his right, he's looking that way, moves to his right, and then he's completely lost. There's no deflection, it's just gone straight in. What a strike! Absolutely peach perfect.
And that's the breathing space that Chelsea wanted.
It's a training ground strike, isn't it? It's practice, practice, practice. And if it comes right, wow, what a goal!
Well, I said he likes scoring in October. He's off and running now with a couple. Gerrard has brought Emiliano Buendia on, the Argentinian.
Oh, what a time to come off as well. I don't think Buendia be too happy. I'm not surprised Leon Bailey's gone off, to be very truthful.
Yeah, not been his best performance, has it, so far?
Buendia can give Villa a different option, of course, but just after you've given your second goal away, you know, it's a tough time for him to come on and turn the tide, but maybe a chance for Chelsea to keep the confidence going and maybe go on and finish the game off with another goal.
Villa under pressure again.
Look at the work rate though. Started with Conor Gallagher, didn't it? which we talked about.
Loftus-Cheek. Chalobah. I wonder if that's going to just take all the sting out of Villa. We're only at the midway point of the second half, but 2 down, a team struggling desperately for goals. Actually makes it 8 of the last 10 games now that Chelsea have scored twice, at least twice.
Well, there'll be an argument, I suppose, if this remains the scoreline, as to do we actually deserve it. I don't think it matters, just take the 3 points and move on. I mean, Villa might be upset at the fact that maybe they should have scored in the first half, but we have to say, what they talk about, good teams, great teams, if you like Chelsea are, you have to dig in sometimes and things are not going for you, and you find a way of getting a result. And sometimes it does take free kicks, corners, bits of quality on the ball, and that's what Mason Mount has given us.
Well, Matt, we know it's going to be firmly in Gareth Southgate's plans ahead of the World Cup. It's only 5 weeks away now.
Well, we talked about it in the first half, and of course, emphasis for me at the moment is a clean sheet. And I think that's where we've got to be looking. So it's hard work from now on in.
Watkins. Concert. Pushed through for Ramsey. Hemmed in by a couple of white shirts. He's done well, actually. Easy clearance a couple of times for Koulibaly. Good block from Gallagher, and it's only a throw.
Yeah, good work from Connor. Should be able to get a cross in from there as well, Ramsey.
Well, he's got another chance here to deliver. He's trying to pick out McGinn, I think. He was just lurking with intent at the edge of the box. Corner.
Again, Conor Gallagher, we talked about the energy levels perhaps having to be lifted, and you've just seen what Conor Gallagher gives you in the last 30 seconds. 2 fabulous blocks to stop the ball coming in the box.
Well, if Villa want to get something out of the game, they have to score sharpish. Chelsea know that. Has come again. That was a decent punch, a very good punch, especially under pressure. Back into the box it goes, and it flashes just wide, and a corner's been given, so maybe Chalobah got the last touch there.
Yeah, good touch by Trevor. Important somebody got on the end of this. There you see the touch, very, very important. To be fair to Villa, they're coming back at us stronger than ever, you feel. Just got to keep a clean sheet if we can.
Douglas Luiz will deliver the corner. 2 deep, straight out. Well, Philip Coutinho's about to join the action. .20 to go. Chelsea 2 goals to the good. Massive favourites now for a 5th straight victory in October. This is Gallagher. Support from Azpilicueta. Gallagher again. Dug out across brilliantly. That's not a bad header either. Just wide from Sterling. Goalkeeper absolutely rooted to the spot.
Oh, he doesn't get too many, does he, Raheem Sterling? He does really well here. Positions himself well between 2 defenders, so you've got to be saying it's all about the cross, and what a difference Conor Gallagher's made. To be fair, though, Danny Ings is running back to mark him, and it's been quite easy for Conor to get the delivery in. He's unlucky there, Raheem.
Missed by a whisker.
was the sort of thing that you probably would expect from Raheem. Not had the best game, hasn't been involved as much as perhaps we would like him to have been, but he's been scoring goals for fun, so it's the sort of thing someone like him at the top of his game would do, is go and score when you're not playing well.
He's in possession again here. He's actually one shy of 50 Premier League away goals, Raheem Sterling. Fairly select club. Still waiting to get Coutinho on, Aston Villa. Broken here for Azpilicueta. Loftus-Cheek. That's lovely control from Cesar Azpilicueta. Now Gallagher. Cherishing Young.
Well, for me, he's made a huge difference, Conor Gallagher coming on at the right time. Maybe he even could have come on earlier, but certainly added an endeavour and a drive through that midfield, which has given us a little bit of an extra edge as Villa make that change.
So John McGinn is the man to come off there, taking the skipper off the pitch, and it's Philip Coutinho coming on, although Coutinho's recent record, you can kind of understand why Steven Gerrard dropped him. Last 20 Premier League games for the Brazilian, 1 goal, no assists.
Oh, he's looking for some inspiration. He's been coming under a little bit of verbal criticism. And you can understand with that sort of stats. But he's can be a magician at times, and maybe that inspiration is what Steven Gerrard is looking for. Or in damage limitation. I think anything will do for Villa at the moment.
Poncer under pressure from Mount gets it away. Broke for Coutinho, that was his first touch. Down the line from Buendia. That would be an Aston Villa corner.
He's a little bit lucky there, Ollie Watkins. Very, very poor first touch, which gives Kalidou a chance to get back into position and make a block. He's had been a bit of luck with the corner, but poor first touch.
Villa have taken it short. They've got a load of men still waiting in the area. It's not a bad ball in. And the flip was never going anywhere dangerous.
Even from this position, though, it's a difficult one to try and score from. Yes, they've won the first header, but doesn't get the best of contacts, Konza. Problem for Jorginho now.
Looking at Mason Mount's 2 goals. The first one was an absolute present.
Yeah, it's a gift, isn't it? And you've got to be alive and alert to do that. But what a free kick this is. Exceptional. I think Gareth Southgate will be penciling, say pen him in now, Trevor.
Fairly bold ink, I think. There's Azpilicueta. By Mings, Chelsea have stolen it, and they've got a free kick here. Poor challenge by Young.
Well, actually, Young never was a defender, and that was agricultural at best. What a poor challenge. He had no chance, or no, should I say no intention of winning the ball here.
Yeah, it might be a little fortunate that Robert Jones has not taken his name for that. Seen players booked for less.
Yeah.
Gallagher. Azpilicueta was the intended target. That was a nice turn, that's a free kick.
Well, I think if the last one wasn't a yellow card from Ashley Young, that one shouldn't be either for Conor Gallagher.
So we'll give the referee a tick for consistency.
Exactly. As long as they're consistent, Trevor, we can be happy with those decisions. So Mason's got a hat-trick in his mind at this stage.
That's a backdrop there, Coutinho. I think Chelsea are wanting seeing him that deep.
Well, that's where we want him, isn't it? I mean, he's trying to get on the ball. I think that's what Stevie Gerrard has said. Get on the ball and try and make things happen, but probably not as deep as he was on that occasion.
Deer offside.
Yeah, another easy decision.
So Jacob Ramsey is coming off. And the Belgian midfielder, Didier Drogba, is coming on. He's primarily a defensive midfielder, actually. Just a note of one of the Villa subs today. Teenager Lamar Baharda is actually the nephew of Winston Baharda. Of course, he featured for Chelsea a few years back. Stolen by Chilwell.
I think he's had a much better second half as well, Chilwell, than he did first half. I think that's the stability of Koulibaly behind him, which has given him that reassurance, if you like.
Cleared away by Kepa. Gallagher's head. Mings is the last man for Villa. So 11 minutes to go here at Villa Park. Chelsea closing in on 3 precious points. Gallagher did well to poke that through to Mason Mount. And as Chelsea keep the ball in that area, there's not going to be a problem.
Yeah, I don't know why the time and the clock's ticking down. 10 minutes for me is still quite a bit of time to play. I don't want to see us wasting time in there, but keep the ball for sure.
Nice touch from Watkins. Coutinho. That's a great challenge. Well, I was going to say it's a great challenge. I thought he got the ball once, he not. Taken quickly. Watkins. Never really had that under control, and Chelsea might be able to break here. It's a nice touch from Sterling, but found his way back to Loftus-Cheek. Trying to get Sterling in again, and the back pass that looks suspicious for sure.
I think he'd be lucky to get this one. Lovely little ball by Ruben outside the right boot.
Yeah, no, he wasn't trying. It's got to be intentional, obviously.
Yeah.
He's nearly caught on it by Gallagher, who's been real live wire since he came on. Chelsea fans upping the volume, and the supporters have been very quiet for the most part this afternoon. Still think there are 3 teams worse than them in the Premier League, but when you're on a poor run in terms of winning matches and finding it really hard to score, you look at the league table and it doesn't give you much encouragement.
Yeah, I mean, there are a few teams, aren't there, down the bottom that, you have to say, Villa would seem to be a better team than them. But when you get into a rut, very, very difficult to get out of it, and Villa are finding right now. And the rut is not always just about losing games, it's the fact they're not scoring goals. And with chances they've had today, you might be saying they should have done a lot better.
Yeah, it wasn't that long ago he was celebrating an excellent 1-1 draw against Manchester City. But with a few draws, very few victories. Just 2 wins all season in the league so far. Whacked away by Ings. That's a shirt pull. It doesn't get much more blatant than that. And Mason Mount is going to get a yellow card.
Well, I guess at this stage, slow the game down, take a yellow card, and it's not nice to get it, to be honest. Mason, he's caught up in things. I think they were a bit lucky to get out of that, just trying to volley it out of trouble. Could have gone anywhere.
Watkins. It's a Villa ball, but there doesn't seem to be any great deal of urgency about them. You know, 2 down at home, chasing the game, but very little momentum, which will suit Chelsea just fine. Mings. Young. Poor ball straight to Trevor Chalobah. And now Mason Mount for Chelsea. Chilwell available on his left.
Just ran into trouble, Chilwell. Just need to keep the ball moving. Had a good second half. Oh, good footing.
That's a really good challenge, that, from Thiago Silva. Now Loftus-Cheek. Sterling. Fonseca got a foot in twice. It's come back to Azpilicueta though. And now Raheem Sterling. Straight at Martinez.
Yeah, difficult one. He's found himself in good space. Well picked out by Cesar. Absolutely terrific ball into him. Decent enough turn, free shot. Maybe should have tested the keeper a bit more. Hits the target nonetheless.
Jorginho. The space here for Chilwell. Well, it's had an eventful day. A couple of goals, a booking. Fouled a few times, Mason Mount.
Gets kicked unintentionally by Douglas Luiz at the end. You see the kick into the backside, that'll be painful.
5 minutes to go, plus stoppage time. Well, he'll be delighted to see Mount get back on the goal-scoring trail today. He's on the ball again here. Looking for Sterling. Defender just got back.
Got to hit it first time. Got to. Very, very difficult. I'll tell you what, he's not the biggest of fellas, and when you get a cross come in like that as early as you do, and it's dropping nicely out of the sky, close range, late in the game, 2-0 up, take the shot on.
Yeah, just put your foot through it. They've seen enough, these Villa fans. Came with high hopes today that Steven Gerrard might have been able to turn things around with a victory and a few goals, but it's turned then to another disappointing scoreline from Aston Villa's point of view. But for Chelsea, it's a job professionally done. Dia still going. Coutinho. Cash. Very deep, too deep, really.
Again, the quality of ball in, not the best.
Ashley Young. Ings tried the back flick, and they have got a corner.
And there's one reason to bring on Cesar Azpilicueta, to be honest. Just reads that situation. He's not involved with the initial build-up, but his positioning just to clear his lines from what was a decent back heel, could have caused us problems. Yeah, just clever play by Cesar.
Signal to someone from Ashley Young. Chelsea were queuing up to get it clear. Buendia charged down by Mount. Jorginho. Free kick. Not a very Brazilian challenge, that, was it?
Well, I think through Mason Mount's ability today, you know, when we talk about him getting on the ball constantly, you know, can he make things happen? Well, scored a couple of goals, and his general all-round play has been excellent. His work rate, along with many others, to dig in, as we say. It's not been the best of quality throughout the game, but we scored the goals that matter, of course, but you have to work hard.
Sterling is offside. Took a while for the flag to go up.
Oh, Breuer coming on now and gives Raheem Sterling a couple of minutes and a few minutes of perhaps just wasting time. Oh, we love what we've seen from Armando Breuer so far. Developing, of course, through the academy. Fabulous talent.
Yeah, still just 21 years of age. He's not got long to make any kind of an impact here. Dendoncker. Going to pull back for Dendoncker here, but that was a clumsy touch. Here's Coutinho, though. He's always going to go for goal. Buendia's shot was charged down. It wasn't much of a shot, truth to tell. Gallagher.
Thiago Silva hurt himself in that challenge. It's like he's had his foot stood on. He was allowing play to continue, but maybe it was a late challenge.
It's a really clumsy touch, actually, by Dendoncker.
He actually gets to the ball, Dendoncker, doesn't he? But he follows through and catches it. I think it's one of those. I honestly don't think it's particularly a foul. I think it's just one of those. You're going to get these sorts of collisions. He's just unfortunate these studs have followed through and caught the top of his boot.
And the boots are so light these days, so any kind of a challenge like that, contact like that's going to hurt.
Very flimsy, as Graham Potter obviously thinks, as managers do, continually thinking throughout the 90 plus. And you probably feel he's one of those games where you're going to walk away and say, well, we'll take the 3 points. We didn't play well first half, better in the second, although not outstanding. But I think analysing the two teams together, we were the better side.
Didn't look anywhere. They haven't looked anywhere near as vulnerable second half, have they, Chelsea?
No, much more solid second half. Talk about Cesar and Kalidou coming on, makes a difference. I mean, Conor Gallagher for me made a huge difference, because not only we talk about protecting the back three, his desire and work rate is unbelievable, the way he gets around the pitch, and it just stops balls coming in at times that they don't have to deal with.
So Thiago Silva being helped to the touchline. Meanwhile, as you probably saw, 4 minutes of additional time. It's not going to be enough for Aston Villa to get anything out of this match. Whacked away by Kepa. Over the head of Mings. Buendia on the chase, couldn't get it.
Yeah, again, almost a hopeful ball, wasn't it, for Buendia to run on to. I think the only thing that Steven Gerrard can complain about is the finishing perhaps in the first half for Villa. Their work rate's been pretty good. I just think that at times we've been much better second half than first.
Yeah, it's almost as if Graham Potter recognised there was a threat from Villa, changed things around second half with the 2 substitutions, and since then really Villa have huffed and puffed but have rarely threatened seriously. Injury this time for Mings, I think.
The only thing I can think of, he's landed awkwardly here. Maybe a slight nudge from Breuer. Maybe he's turned his ankle here as he landed. As you get the nudge, as you get the contact, it just throws you offline slightly, and you sort of adjust your feet to land better. He's holding. Hope for his sake it's not an Achilles, because he's landed very, very badly here, and the Achilles is very, very difficult to come back from, as we've seen. Let's look at the challenge. Yeah, just on that right boot, isn't it? Yeah, just feeling around the calf. For his sake, it's only a calf injury. Certainly with the World Cup coming up, and players like Reece James, looks like he might be struggling for it. We can't afford too many injuries for that England squad.
Well, at least he's sitting up, which is a more hopeful sign, but it doesn't look great.
No, and when you think it was a mid-air challenge, 2 players going for the same ball, both honest challenges, and when you see one player writhing around in agony, and for sure this is agony for Tyrone Mings. This isn't a sham at this stage of the game, I'm sure. Well, certainly in trouble here.
Yeah, nothing to be gained at all. Definitely a genuine injury, and a few looks of concern as well.
Well, he's putting his boot back on by the look of it as well, which is a sign that it's not too bad. Maybe that's just a walk off, Trevor. We'll have to see.
Don't see there's much to be gained in him carrying on, to be honest. We've hardly got any time left. They're 2-0 down.
Yeah.
Why risk aggravating something? Yeah, there's no way you can carry on, I don't think. Well, certainly shouldn't.
Well, if that's an Achilles injury, then he wouldn't come back on it. Maybe it's just a calf and it's not too bad.
Watkins' pass was inaccurate, trying to find Philippe Coutinho with it. Mings has actually come back on, but he's not exactly moving very freely. Chelsea might be minded to play the ball in his direction. Might seem a bit harsh, but a bit callous, but I think he can really run very well. Gallagher, Loftus-Cheek. Still going. 3 waiting here for the cross. It was Mings' header. He didn't have to run very far to meet it. To Chelsea corner.
Yeah, it certainly looks like he's struggling, and maybe the whistle go after this final corner. I'm surprised if Chelsea don't play this short. I don't understand the point of putting it into the box. Looks like Mason Mount's going short for it, and maybe the whistle will get blown, but Chelsea good for the 3 points.
Yeah, kind of never been worried for them in the second half, have you? And there is the final whistle. Very different emotions for the 2 managers. Steven Gerrard won't enjoy tomorrow morning's headlines, but for Graham Potter, it's a 5th straight win in October, secured by 2 Mason Mount goals. The first, a gift after Tyrone Mings' error. The second, a quite wonderful free kick midway through the second half. His first 2 goals of the campaign, and enough to ensure that Chelsea keep the heat on those above them in the Premier League table. Solid rather than spectacular, but a final score that will delight Chelsea fans everywhere. Aston Villa 0, Chelsea 2.